Now, I always ask myself, when a player is like this, looking to maybe leave or stay, I always ask myself the question, would I be disappointed if Jordan James was sold? And I've thought about this, and my honest answer is no.
So welcome back to Small Heath Alliance FC. And since January, there's been a lot of transfer rumours surrounding our player Jordan James, who's still only 19 years old. And there's been about 2 or 3 Premier League clubs interested, but the biggest rumour has come from the Italian club Atalanta. And in this video, we're going to give an overview of Jordan James, sort of his style of play, what clubs could expect if he gets sold. And that's another big question. We're going to discuss whether we feel Jordan James will be here with Birmingham City next season. So let's get into it. And Dad, what are your thoughts on Jordan James, and do you think he'll be at Birmingham City next season?
Well, I think even though the season that we've just had ended in relegation, for Jordan James, I think it was effectively a breakthrough season in as much as he became a first team regular. If you look at his stats for last season at Birmingham City, he started 25 of the 46 league games, and he was substitute and came on in 17. So he was involved in one way or another in 42 at the 46 games, which is a miracle when you think of all the different types of managers. All the managers seem to like him. But I think what's really caught the attention of teams, particularly Atalanta, which started from their interest in January and has now sort of carried on. And also I hear that West Ham and Leicester City have also expressed an interest in him.
Crystal Palace in January as well, with Atalanta.
I think Wolves as well had an interest in him as well. I think
Big clubs, big teams.
They are big clubs, and I think the thing that's really caught their interest is that firstly he's become a established Welsh international now, and also he's scoring goals. He scored 8 goals last season from midfield. So that's, I think, with his age as well, it makes quite an attractive package that I can see why teams would be attracted to him.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said about this being his breakthrough season. 8 goals this year.
Yeah.
Quite a few good goals as well. He can score them from 20, 25 yards, can't he? I remember Mowbray's first home game in charge against Swansea, and he 90 plus 4, I think it was, and he pinged it from outside the box. A couple of good goals he scored.
Yeah, that was a
He's
good goal.
capable, especially in the Blues team. When was the last time we had someone who could consistently score from 20, 25 yards? We've not had that for years, have we? So Jordan James really can score them from that range, which is really nice. But one of my gripes, I don't know whether you agree with this, Dad, and I've just got the stats here of the different positions he's played and how many times he's played them. This isn't including coming off the bench, but I think Jordan James makes a great centre defensive mid or a great centre attacking mid. I don't think he's a winger.
Yeah.
This might catch a few people by surprise. I'm sure it won't Blues fans, but so he's played right mid 2 times, left mid 7 times, defensive mid 7 times, and attacking mid 9 times. So he's really been spread across the midfield. Interesting again, in the attacking mid, he's had his highest average rating of 6.88, and left mid, he's had his lowest rated average performance of 6.34. And you can feel it, can't you, when you're watching him? He's not as effective out on the wing.
So when we were thinking about Jordan James, just doing a little bit of prep for this video, I went back to when we was at St.Andrews at Knightshead Park and we were watching him. And I remember a couple of times we've turned around to each other and says, he's not effective in that position because whichever manager it was, and you could pick any one of them from last season for Birmingham City. If you move, particularly on the left, he's really effective on the left. That for me, that was his worst position. Yeah, he puts the effort in. He's a sort of a box to box type of midfielder, and that's a really good plus point. If you want to pick Jordan James, you've got to put him in the right position. And I agree with you. I think he's better in an attacking midfield, almost like a false 9. Type of position, because that's where his goals come from. So where you got we only were playing one up front last season in Jay Stansfield, and a lot of times, he was almost the second striker, but he was the backup, wasn't he? That guy you talked about against Swansea, he came and cut in, didn't he, and took it from the edge of the box and slotted it in. And we don't, as you point out, score many goals like that. So to me, he's a good midfield, very energetic because of his age, runs around, but really, if any manager wants to play him effectively, it has to be in that central midfield role. I don't think he's too bad as a defensive midfielder, but he's better as an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I think sometimes his short passing can be quite poor, and in the centre defensive mid, he can get caught out with moments of sloppiness. Whereas in the attacking mid, it gives him more freedom to be on the ball, and he's actually quite good on the ball. And for only being 19, he's quite physical. I remember over the last couple of years we've seen him, he really has gone from boy to man. because he was weak. He was getting knocked off the ball quickly. But I think this year, for the first year ever, he's shown his physicality. He can hold his own. He can, get stuck amongst it, which is quite good. And I really like him in that centre attacking mid because, as you said, it gives him the free roam. He's on the ball. He can pick out a nice pass as well, shoots from distance. He's physical. So there's lots of positives going for Jordan James. And he's 19. He's a kid.
Well, I think he's still got a lot to learn, and there's a lot of potential in him, which is why I think he's having the interest. But as I say, I can remember certain games where he hasn't been effective as well. Because, you got to bear in mind, folks watching this, that if you're not a Birmingham City supporter, we're talking about last season now, where we had, you all know, we had a bad season, we got relegated, and Jordan James was in that team. So there were games when he was anonymous. We think, what's he contributing, what's he doing? But then we said that about virtually every player at some point, didn't we, Matt?
And that's my biggest criticism of Jordan James is sometimes you can forget he's even on the pitch.
Yes.
He can go that invisible, you forget he's there. And those games are rare, but I find those games are more when he's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. He goes more invisible when he's on the wing. Yeah. Because I think that's not his natural position. So he's naturally going to go invisible because he's not always comfortable out on the wing necessarily. And a couple of other things I've mentioned on my laptop here. I just wanted to read them off so I don't forget them for improvements. I think his movement sometimes quite poor. How many times has Lee Buchanan had it down the left-hand side and Jordan James is just sort of standing there. Come on, move, get some move. When I say movement, I mean movement off the ball, creating chances, moving into space, moving into gaps.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And also as well, he's quite foul prone. He commits quite a lot of fouls. In fact, this year alone, he's picked up 12 yellow cards. That's quite high for someone that plays on the wing. So he is prone to fouls. He does pick up a few yellow cards. Only a small thing really on that, because at least that shows he's not scared of getting stuck in to some extent. But those are the three big areas for me where I think if he improves on that, he could genuinely be a brilliant player. Just want to highlight again what you said. Welsh international, 19 years old. He had 8 caps this season, just gone, 8 caps, which is interesting. And he's just been called up for the next 2 Welsh friendlies as of today. I saw it on social media. So he's regularly getting calls up from the Welsh international team, which is good to see.
Yeah, I think, and this is no disrespect to the Welsh team whatsoever, but, the fact that he is getting chance in the Welsh team, what I look at and I see a player in Jordan James, ask myself, would he be called up into the England team? And the answer would be no, because he is not at that level, which tells me that there's still a lot of development to come from him. I'm not disputing the fact that he's a good player. And I'm really not disrespecting the Welsh team at all, because obviously the England team is very, very competitive in terms of the bigger pool and, the quality of players and the ranking that the England.
We're talking Bellingham and Foden and world-class players.
So he's not getting called up into the England team if he was eligible to play for England. So that tells me that, he's not quite at that level yet. And also as well, being linked to teams like Atalanta, West Ham and Leicester, what do they do with him? Because he's 19, so therefore they may see him as a player for the future. Therefore, he's not going to get a lot of game time at those teams, in my opinion. I don't know much about Atalanta. It's an Italian league and whether they use young players in that way. But West Ham and Leicester, I can see him being on the bench used a lot.
I was going to say, even when you look at Leicester, right, let's just say Mavididi, Dewsbury Hall, Fatawu, Jordan James isn't quite on their level either. So even at a team like Leicester, I couldn't imagine him breaking in the first team very regularly, to be perfectly honest. I don't know whether West Ham might be a slightly better fit for him, but I think personally, this is pure me and my thinking, I think it's nailed on for him to go to Atalanta. I think that's where the rumours are the strongest. That's where it makes most sense for him to go. Of course, it comes down to whether, I guess, the player has some say in preference. It's going to come down to money as well. But I think Atalanta would be a better fit for Jordan James.
It'd be interesting to see where he does go, isn't it, really? A possible option is that he could be sold to one of the Premier League clubs and then loaned back to Birmingham City maybe for a season. But that depends on that. He's got 1 year left on his contract now. So if he had 2 years, you'd be thinking, maybe 10, 12 million. I'm thinking it's going to be round between 7.5 to 10. Around that area will be a fee that's probably about right for him. Again, he's a Birmingham City Academy development player that's come through the ranks. So that's something, again, for the club to be proud of. We seem to have a good history for developing decent types of players.
But to jump in, because you've mentioned the price tag, you've gone a little bit more specific to me. I've put on my laptop here, but we're somewhere between 5 and 10. So we're in the same ballpark, but you've gone 250k more. 2.5 million more specific than me.
And here's another option. Why would you be against Birmingham City offering him a new long-term contract and keep him?
I wouldn't, especially in League One.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't be against that at all. I like Jordan James. He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's definitely come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years. I couldn't be more on the fence. I don't mind if he gets sold and we pocket 7.5, 10 million. Love that. And I don't mind if he gets given a new contract. And we are quite decisive in our opinions, and we don't sit on the fence very often. But Jordan James is one of those that I do like him. He's young. He's still got a lot to grow. His game's still got a lot to get. But then I also, we spoke about the movement and going invisible in games. I also think, to be honest with you, if we can get 10 million, I'd take that in a heartbeat. When you look at his age, he's an international. It's not crazy money to think.
No. And you look at was it Adam Wharton? He went to Crystal Palace for a ridiculous amount of money, didn't he? 15, 20 million, something. I don't know exactly. Anyway, it was a lot of money. But
Good player, though,
okay. He's just got into the England team, but at the time he was sold, he wasn't a full England international, and he's a good player. Yeah, fair enough. He's a very, very good player.
I think he's probably next calibre up.
Yeah,
him. But still,
maybe. But Jordan James is an international player now. He's getting picked regularly for Wales now. He's played a lot of league games for Birmingham City. He's a young player, and £8 to £10 million in today's economy is a snip, really, isn't it? Really. So I think he's probably worth that. Now I always ask myself, when a player is like this, looking to maybe leave or stay, I always ask myself the question: would I be disappointed if Jordan James was sold? And I've thought about this, and my honest answer is no. That's my honest answer. I wouldn't be disappointed if he was sold. But like you, if we were to keep him because he is a young player and offer him a contract, and that's what I think the club may consider doing with the view to his future value and getting more value out of him, then that would be a good thing as well. Because actually, by offering him a contract, it's an investment in the club in the future. So there's a lot of options there for Jordan James. So ultimately, I suppose it comes down to that final question then that we talked about, or you talked about in the intro. Do you think Jordan James will be a Birmingham City player with Birmingham City at the start of the league season?
I don't think he will be. I think he will be sold, and I think the club, because he's got a year left on his contract, I don't think. When you look at Welsh international, when you look at all these different attributes, he's not going to want to be, in my opinion, he's not going to want to be a League One player. And if we can get close to 10 million for Jordan James, in my opinion, I think that's a no-brainer. And I think that will happen. Sorry, the sell will happen. I don't know what the price tag will be, and I don't know why. I don't know why I got this feeling. I just think it's going to be Atalanta who snap him up.
Okay, I think he'll go as well, because I think from his perspective, all he's known is Birmingham City. He's now had a taste of international football, and clearly he's getting a higher profile. So obviously, there's other clubs that that have actually he's drawn their attention, and he might want to at this stage of his career now try something new. And I also think he'll be sold.
Well, he's proven himself at the Championship level at 19 years old. If you've got a little bit of arrogance about you and a little bit of swag about you, why would you want to play in League One? If I was him, I'd want to be pushing to a higher level. Well, and again, that's no disrespect to our own club. That's just a fact of a young, hungry footballer who wants to keep climbing the ladder.
Well, he scored 8 goals in a Championship season in a poor team. That's the reality of Birmingham City last season. And there's no other way of actually explaining that. So he's proven that he can, hold his own in the Championship.
Yeah.
I
think he's a good player. I think he might be slightly overrated. If I'm just being brutally honest,
I think that's fair.
I'm just being honest. I think he's a good player. As I say, international, got lots of positives going for him.
Well, if he's going to be sold, I think he's worth 50 million at Atalanta if you're watching this. But I do agree with you, and I think, but I think there's a lot more to come from him because he's still a young player, isn't he? We've actually seen him really develop from effectively a boy when he's like a little school kid coming on when I first seen him onto the pitch, because he wasn't as developed as he is now in terms of his body frame, and he started to get more of a wider body frame, which is really important in football, I think, and because that's what makes him physical. That enables him to be more competitive, and I think he's developing really, really nicely.
It's like when we saw Romael Donovan come on, remember around Christmas time? He just looked like a boy, didn't it? Jordan James looked similar to that a couple of years ago, but he's really filled out.
Romael Donovan's going to be a great player, and obviously the video's not about him, but he was tiny when he came.
It was just a comparison of physical size, though, wasn't it? He looked like a boy, and Jordan James looked like that a couple of years back, but he's really filled out and picked up that physicality, Jordan James, now recently. So
I mean, I I do wish him good luck, and like you said as well, Matt. One final point from me is that if Birmingham City were to offer him a long-term contract, I would be happy with that as well, because
Same, yeah, yeah.
because I think if he's going to develop at Birmingham
Yeah, yeah.
City, and because he will know what's happening at Birmingham City in terms of what the vision of the owners are, and where they
Yeah.
want to take the club. That might be something that might appeal to him, to be loyal to the club,
Yeah.
to his boyhood club, and stay with us, and hang around. And
Yeah.
if that's the case, then absolutely fine. But my gut feeling, like you said, is that
I think he'll be
I
gone.
think he'll go.
Yeah.
I think he'll be
But this
sold.
is why, when you asked me my opinion, I said I'm sitting on the fence. And the reason why I said I'm sitting on the fence is because I feel exactly the same emotion if he gets sold as the exact same emotion if he stays. I'm kind of I'm a bit indifferent about it. I'll be okay if he goes, and I'll be okay if he stays. I won't be thrilled if he stays. I won't be thrilled if he's sold. It's that kind of thing where
Yeah.
I'm just in the middle.
Yeah.
And however, my opinion is I think he will be sold this summer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
hopefully, from a Blues and a club perspective, we can get close to 10 million for him. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think 10 million would be a really good bit of business.
Well, it'd be great for us to be able to spend on new players.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just heard our opinions, Blues fans, but as always, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us a comment below. What are your thoughts on Jordan James? Have you been impressed with him this season? Do you like him as a player? How would you feel if he did leave the club? Do you think he'll leave the club? Please leave a comment below and let us know. As I said, me and Dad love checking out your comments and trying to get back to those as quickly as we can. And it always helps with the algorithm, if you can give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to check out our social media channels on Instagram and on X. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And me and Dad will see you on the next video.